Hello, welcome to A Differentiated Life Session 2. It's great to be with you all again. My name is Catherine Kissel and I'm a counselling psychologist. And during this time when we're confined to our homes, I've decided to offer regular therapy sessions via Facebook as a way of supporting the wider community. My clinical approach is all about enhancing differentiation. So my videos think about a live issue that we're facing and offer some practical tools to help you take a step towards a differentiated life. So today's challenge is what to do when we're feeling overwhelmed with homeschooling. If you're a parent like me, we have entered a whole new world. The school has started to send posts through thick and fast, that is when the internet's working. You don't understand the instructions, the abbreviations, the maths approach. There was a very good reason why you didn't choose homeschooling as your preferred option. And to be honest, just getting homework done was bad enough. Not only that, how on earth are we supposed to do our jobs at the same time? We're facing the unknown. It's confusing, it's suffocating, it's stifling, and a feeling of panic can grow. Your anxiety-o-meter rises from green to amber to red. And in session 1, we were thinking about the way that anxiety is always trying to bind itself to get rid of its energy. It's a bit like lightning. The build-up of electric charge can only release its energy by grounding. And without meaning to, we can sometimes ground our anxiety through our children. Rather than sitting with our feelings, calming them and moving through them, which allows us to come up with a thoughtful, manageable response to the situation, we can feel pushed to action. As our anxiety rises, we lose sight of what I call the primary task. That's the actual, thoughtful, rational problem to be solved. How to create a manageable work, school, life balance that everyone in the family can live with. Now, the focus is just about getting rid of the anxiety inside. The emotion-driven secondary agenda has taken over. And when that happens, we can easily move to something called projection. Instead of recognising the worry that's belonging to us, we focus on our child. Have they studied enough? Are they exercising enough? Are they going to drop behind in school? Maybe they're not going to pass their exams. Maybe they're going to drop down a set. And we can find ourselves dancing around them like moths to a light. None of these questions are problems in and of themselves. It's the drive behind them, the compulsion that I talked about in session 1. And the challenge is that if we do that, if we project our anxiety and ground it through our children, then we risk leaving our children holding the anxiety. And children are super sensitive to emotions, and they will absorb our fear. Some of them have the kind of personality where they'll internalise it, they'll take it in, and they might start displaying physical symptoms of anxiety, whether stomach pains or anxiety or withdrawing or even being really compliant. Other children will externalise it. There'll be big displays of emotions. They'll push back and they'll fight. And there goes the end of the school day. And none of us want to do that to our children. But it's so easy to do it right now when there is so much pressure on us. So first of all, what we've got to do is we've got to bring ourselves back down to green. And then second, we've got to engage our thinking brain again to come up with creative solutions to the challenge of homeschooling. That's why we need to go and make ourselves a cup of tea. Schoolwork is not going anywhere when you are still up on red. We need to sit and connect with how we're actually feeling. Tomorrow, I'm going to introduce you to a wonderful skill called focusing, which is like a superpower when it comes to connecting with feelings and calming our anxiety. But for now, we're just going to use some mindfulness skills. And we're going to use them to articulate the feelings that are rushing through you and to offer them acceptance. And what I've done is I've started a group that's linked to the Facebook page where I'm going to put in all the different resources I'm going to mention. So after you've listened to this video, then you can go check out the resource and use the skills yourself at your own pace. I worked out that was easier than trying to link them to every video, because you're going to need these resources lots of times. So I guess you probably have to sign up in the group and then you can access them. So as I was thinking about this, I was thinking it's kind of funny for me because it feels like I've been introduced to this situation several months ago. My daughter, who's 10, has been chronically ill for several months. And in fact, since October, she's only been at school for a handful of days. It took the doctors a long time to try and figure out what was going on for her, and the normal solutions that they used, it didn't seem to work the way they would normally do. So it hasn't been easy. It's been a situation of not knowing and having just to hold anxiety. Sometimes it's been frightening and overwhelming, and it's felt really out of control. I noticed that I was starting to project my anxiety outwards. I was starting to panic about her schooling. And it took me a while before I sat myself down and looked inside. Not about the lessons that she was getting behind on and the friendships that she was missing, but about my fears. What did her schooling mean to me? I had to recognise that I hated it when I missed school because I really worried about catching up. I hated performing badly and I hated upsetting my teachers. And all those things were happening to my daughter. And it made me feel vulnerable, ashamed, fearful, helpless, desolate. Underneath it, I felt scared that everything was falling apart. So I cried a lot. And I gradually chose to accept those feelings just as they were, to offer myself compassion as the girl I felt inside. And I found peace. My anxiety meter dropped down to green. And then I could move to step 2. I could make some thoughtful and creative decisions. That health was her first priority, that schooling could be caught up with through extra tutoring, that friends could be FaceTimed, and that spending copious amounts of time on the iPad while making iTunes videos was teaching her a life skill that she wouldn't get to develop otherwise. That allowed me to be playful with her again, to not take her illness so chronically seriously, to offer her the big picture because I had found it. When we calm ourselves, we can offer that calm to our children, and then they can thrive, even in uncertain circumstances. So if you're feeling overwhelmed with homeschooling, go grab yourself a cup of tea. Check out the mindfulness resources that I've uploaded in the group and look after yourself. Your kids need you too. See you tomorrow.